Hello, beautiful soul. Hope you are doing well today. Let's talk about burnouts amongst women. A conversation inspired by the 10% Happier podcast with Dan Harris. I absolutely adore this man. He's so candid and transparent and isn't afraid to be vulnerable. His conversation was with Leah Weiss, and it's called Why You're Burning Out and How to Fix It. I'll hook you up with the link of the description in the description below. And I wanted to take notes for this one because I don't want to miss out on anything important to tell you guys. So forgive me if it looks like I'm reading a bit at times. And now this conversation is especially pertinent in the midst of this pandemic that we're having now. And if you watched my video about caring versus carrying and you were triggered by it, this one will resonate with you as well. They're very related. And it starts off with the statistics. The statistics says, let me read that out for you. As of February, 3 million women in the US have left the workplace, and it is the lowest levels of workforce participation since 1988. It is said that women are twice as likely than men to say they are having, that they have more to do, more to do than they can possibly handle. And this gets you thinking, why is that? And if you're a mother, you kind of already know the answer. And even for those of you who are like me and fortunate to have a husband who cooks and provides for his family, you know that when something needs to be taken out of the fridge, dad could be right next to the fridge and the kids are still going to run to you to get that thing that they need. So you kind of know why. So what can be done? Actually, here's another statistic that hits home. On average, women are doing 20 hours a week more than men. So that's pretty, they're doing more. 20 hours worth of more stuff. So that's pretty high. So what can be done? Meditation is a powerful tool, so try to include that daily. But that being said, I don't think that's enough. Meditation doesn't equal no burnout. People who meditate can burn out as well. It's that there's no holier than thou once you start meditating and you know it all, and you can be free of burnouts and stress. You do, however, get better at managing it. So it's good to have as a tool. I just don't think it can be done. It can be the only thing. So it needs to be combined with other things. Something I would highly suggest would be community. Having a healthy community of people who you can talk to about anything is massively important. And one great action to take is to start a conversation. One thing that's important when you start any deep conversation that could potentially be sensitive is to ask yourself, what is the positive intention behind this conversation I'm about to have? Don't focus on the critique if there is one. Rather, emphasize the desire to help find a solution. Be mindful of the physical cues as well. Speak with mindfulness and compassion. So when I tell you I absolutely adore this man named Dan Harris, let me give you an example of why. Here's what he asks at the end of the show. He goes, just going back to the subject of burnout, staying with women in the workplace for a second. If you're a man and you either work with, work for, employ, or married to, in a relationship with, or in a friendship with a woman, in the midst of this crisis of women leaving the workplace, what can we men do that would be helpful? I mean, just the fact that he's asking, he has the compassion and clarity to ask that question is just beautiful. And the response from Leah Weiss was also simple and powerful. She says, the first thing would be to ask the women in your world that question. And she goes on to say, looking at who's doing what in a home environment is not just and not just as tit for tat, not just who's doing more, but who's feeling drained by what they're doing. And it becomes the opportunity to know each other better, support one another, switch things up, being in bringing in external resources if possible to change how things are being done. So what's draining your partner and what would be the most helpful thing for them? Understanding the frustrations that women feel and that build up over time. So I think her answer was really spot on, and just having a conversation about what drains you, what makes you feel exhausted, is a great way to start a conversation at home with your significant other. So in terms of self-awareness, know that the early phases of a burnout look like workaholism, like what you look like somebody who's a workaholic. Your excessive drive, you pushing yourself harder, neglecting your personal care and your needs. When you start displacing conflicts and snapping at your partner or your kids or your family members because of frustrations, you start withdrawing. These are all signs of early burnout. There are also physical components such as gastrointestinal problems. Sorry about that. Hair loss and hormonal issues, trouble with your throat and your voice. These are also physical components of early onset burnout. So it's good to be able to look out for those things. And with increased self-awareness, if you can be mindful and catch the signs, use whatever it takes to get you out of it. So in this video, we spoke about different ways to cope. So let's go back to them. Be mindful, meditate, start a conversation, and we can throw in getting close to nature as well. That can be very therapeutic. I hope that was helpful for you, and you can, if you see yourself in any of these things, you can adjust and be mindful and take care of yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe, tell your friends about it, share. I wish you many blessings, many thanks and many blessings.